Very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to Study IQ. Before moving ahead, let me tell you that this is my Facebook page here. You can follow me, you can contact me, and you can download the PDF of this lecture from my FB page. Let's see the quote of the day, or positive start quote. There is no substitute for hard work, said by Thomas Alva Edison. This is very right, and this is something that I strictly believe in. It's not just something that I believe in. I do follow this thing as well, and I'm convinced that there is definitely no substitute for hard work. And I would reckon all of you that don't be soft on yourself. Don't wait for someone to come and spark you. Be your own light. Roll your sleeves and get on to the work. And in this case, all you have to do is study. That's it, right? So very easy peasy. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. On your screen, you can see SSC and UPSC optionals. We cover state PSC courses as well. Defense exams are covered by us, and for your upcoming prelims exams, you will find test series on our StudyIQ.com website. So make sure you check it out and make the most out of it. With this, we have 3 articles in today's editorial page. They are pure political articles, and in terms of your examination, they are not that important. If in terms of your capacity building, yes, you can read them. I'll give you a gist of 3 articles that you find, and then we will move on to other important articles that we have. One is on USA and global trade war and things associated with it. We'll discuss that thing in detail. Then we have one article on Saudi Arabia, very interesting one, and then about land acquisition. So this one, small arena, big win. It's about this political victory of BJP in Tripura. From 0 to, it used to have 0 seats in this state of Tripura, and now it has got 35 seats out of this 60 member assemblies. So this is not bad at all. And here we are not just appreciating, or we are not talking about BJP only or any particular party. If you go through these articles, you will find that, see, this is how it works, right? If you observe different societies, you find, say for example, if you have party A in power in Tripura, left parties were in power since last 25 years, right? So what happens is, when you are ruling a state for this long period of time, naturally, when you win, say for example, when the first time when you won this election, you were at your best. Then you reach your peak, and then you have to fall down. This is how it works with the life as well, right? Everyone who goes up will come down. Now it all depends how much you are ready to pay, how much, whether you are innovating, whether you are, as a political party, are you able to feel the pulse of the people of your state or your region. If you are able to do that, then you can extend this period. This peak period can be extended. It could be something like this, right? It can go on for a long period of time. But later on, then you have other people as well, right? They have their own faith and their own hard work and other things, so they will reach their peak as well. So in this way, you find ups and downs going on, and it is beneficial for the democracy as well, right? If you think about it, then you find that yes, a change of guard is necessary too, because what happens is, when you have a particular political party ruling a particular state for a very long period of time, then you find that they become a bit of egoistic, and there will be a different sort of culture that you find in these political workers and things like that. However, I must add here, it's not always the case. Generally speaking, means this is the thing that we find most of the time, and I'm sure it is quite, means you don't have any problem with this thing at all, I'm sure, because it's very easy to understand. And if you observe your own life, then you will come to know about, you will find many such examples. Now, so left group is down now, and you can say this is a new beginning of right inclined or right group political parties in Tripura. Now let's see how BJP sorts out all the issues that or the problems that were highlighted, and the things that basically, during your campaign you said that you are going to do this and that and things like that. This one is again talking about the same thing, northeastern states, the saffron breeze. It says that even in Nagaland, things are not bad when you have 11 seats, means won by BJP, and so it's again the same thing, right? It is talking about a niche, or you can say specific political things going on in this northeastern states. So just a one-time read. Yes, go ahead. I would say if you have time, then will take 15-20 minutes for you guys to go through all these three articles. The third one is about Tamil Nadu. The entry of Kamal Haasan, a very famous film star, and when this political turmoil was going on in Tamil Nadu after the death of Jayalalitha, these factions or these cracks that developed in this AIADMK. There was a very tough tug of war going on between two factions within this AIADMK, and then later on we saw this Sasikala faction, and then this Paneerselvam and other person, the current chief minister's group, right? Together they combined, and now you have Sasikala group as a separate one. Then talking about this opposition political party DMK, the main man is not keeping that well. He's due to his health, and his son as well. He's a famous politician, no doubt, but then as well they were not able to stand against Jayalalitha or AIADMK and things like that. So because of this DMK's person Karunanidhi not keeping that well, and this passing away of Jayalalitha, and this sort of problems going on in AIADMK, it created a sort of vacuum in the political arena of Tamil Nadu, and this provided an opportunity for Kamal Haasan to enter or declare the thing that he is setting up a political party and he is going to contest. And this is something that you find in the culture of Tamil Nadu. We have seen film stars. In fact, I'm not sure if you are aware about this thing, that Jayalalitha was a very famous, if not the most famous, he was reasonably famous film actress of South Indian films, and then later on she entered this politics, and then you know the story. So that's everything regarding this three articles, and now let's move on to important ones. The first one is this one: avoid trade wars, global trade war. Now let me explain this thing called global trade war, because once you understand this thing, then it will become easier for you to understand this article as well, and the things that are going to take place in near future. We will find more articles and editorials on this particular thing. So global trade war is basically, in simple layman's language, you can understand when I say global war, right, then you know that two or more countries, right, two or more than two countries, right, entering into a state of war with each other is called a sort of, you can say, global war. Right now, this could be a political war, it could be a military war, and it could be a trade war as well. What has happened at present is USA, right? It has said that it is going to raise tariffs on steels coming from China or different parts of the world, and many a times you find, say for example, a country A raises tariffs on country B's imports in retaliation, right, for country B raising tariffs on country A's imports. So if you and I are in trade, and if I increase, say for example, duties on the things that you export to me, then you will do the same. You will increase the duty of the things that I export to you. So this is a sort of tug of war situation, and then you have this global trade war, because what happens is that a trade war, right, that begins between two countries, or you can say when it begins in one sector, it can affect other sectors as well. Now I'll give you one example. Here we are talking about steel. Now you know steel is used in construction, it is used in infrastructure, of course construction, then you have this automobile industry and other things. So just imagine that if steel prices are going up, then your construction price will go up, your cars will become expensive, and then you have to take extra loan from the bank because the things are expensive now. First you were able to book a flat for 10 lakh rupees, now you have to pay 10 lakh 50,000. That 50,000 may look small at present, but if you calculate 50,000 for say for example 1 lakh citizens, then you know that we are talking about a big amount. So this is, I hope this thing is clear. And back in 1930s, right, there was a Great Depression period, predominantly in USA. It all started in 1929 during the fall of this New York Stock Exchange, and overall stock exchanges were down. They faced a nosedive because of various different things. There are different opinions about this Great Depression, but what happened actually is that this global trade war extended and deepened or prolonged this Great Depression. So this trade wars, you can say this back in 1930s, they made this Great Depression even more painful. So we have learned from that thing now, right? World leaders know about this thing, that if you are going down a little bit, and if you are engaging yourself with this type of global trade wars, then this is not going to be beneficial for anyone, right? For all the countries are going to go down. So when we had this great recession of 2008, started in USA, then later on it crossed this Atlantic Ocean and Europe was affected. Most of the countries around the world were affected by this thing, but India was doing quite well, no doubt, right? Of course, reasonably we were affected as well, but our position was not bad. In fact, we were growing. It was a very strange thing that India was doing well during this recession period. Now the thing is, this Mr. Trump recently he has announced that he is going to impose these tariffs on import of steel and aluminium. Now USA imports steel and aluminium from nearly 100 different countries, and he gave example of China. He said that if China is able to make billions and billions of money every year, 500 billion if China is making, or if profits of China is going that big or touching this sky high amounts, then he said that he does not blame China for it. It is the people in USA. Basically he's talking about the previous government. He said that we have to find out who gave this permission. This type of deals were proposed by whom. Now this was something that was said by Mr. Trump a couple of days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. He said this thing in an interview. And he said that in near future, right, in a week or something, he is going to impose this trade tariffs. Now, as I told you about this global trade war, that you find a retaliation, right, from the countries that are affected. So European Union has vowed to return the favor through retaliatory measures. At present, they have said that this Harley Davidson and other things that are imported from USA, the price may go up. So you see here in this steel sector has affected this. One example in front of you, automobile industry. Later on you will find that this thing may go up if nothing is done about it. Now trade deficit, you know, this is the main issue that is raised by Mr. Trump. He said that we cannot have this trade deficit with other countries with which we are dealing. Now this is a very narrow view, because trade deficit takes place, again let me give you one example. You and I, right, we are A and B doing business with each other. You are selling me goods worth rupees, say for example 1 crore, right, and I am selling you goods worth rupees 75 lakh, right? So I can say that this bilateral trade is tilted towards you. You can easily see that you are making 25 lakh or doing business of 25 lakh more, or you are exporting and I am importing goods worth rupees 25 lakh more than what I am exporting and what you are importing from me. Now this may look a situation in which B is having an upper hand, but many a times, like if we take example of India and China, many times we find this argument that our trade deficit or bilateral trade between India and China is tilted towards China. That means China is having an upper hand. But if we see this thing, capital investment, right? How much China has invested in India. When China is investing in India, then of course we know that jobs will be created. We will be producing many goods and services, isn't it? And then you have development and infrastructure, and there are many benefits. I'm sure you can understand this thing very well. So if China is investing, and when we compare this investment figures of India and China in each other's country, then we find that China has invested more money in India when we compare it with Indian investment in China. So it is a good thing, even if we are a bit down in this bilateral trade, but if we are getting more money as investment from China, then that is fine. This is all right, you can say. Same thing applies with the USA as well, right? USA is making huge amount of money. You find, I'll give you a couple of examples, and it's not just limited to food products. This chocolate companies, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, they are making huge amount of money, and they are truly giants and global companies. You find them in, if I'm not wrong, Coca-Cola is not available in only 3 countries in the world, or at present it is only 2 countries. Apart from that, you find them in each and every part of the world. So you can imagine its reach. McDonald's as well, you find them in most of the cities around the world, and nowadays they are penetrating in the towns of our country as well. So this is how they rule, these American companies, right? Then you have other lots and lots of companies out there. So this USA has invested in different countries and it is making money out of it. The second thing is there are, like, say for example, China has given a huge amount of money to USA as debt and things like that. So trade deficit is not the only thing. The other thing is the steel workers in USA, they are going to be happy, and this decision of Mr. Trump is going to make them or bring cheer in their face, because they were the ones who supported Mr. Trump to win this election. And you can understand this thing, that when you create firewalls in the imports of this steel in your country, then naturally your steel industry, the demand will go up, and in this way you will make a little bit of money for your home consumption. Now we also have to keep this thing in mind, that American consumers would be paying more, and I'm not just focused on America. With the help of this example, you can also take India into consideration. Our steel, right, whatever steel we are selling to USA, and now we are going to face the same thing. So basically there is no point in exacerbating this trade war thing. It is better that together we come and achieve peace and negotiation, right? We can negotiate and we can help persuade Mr. Trump to lift this type of bans, which will create this spiral effect of global trade war. Saudi Arabia is in news for reforms. There is a special video lecture available on our channel. My colleague Prashant Dhawan delivered this lecture a couple of months ago on this king that you can see on your screen. Let me show you a proper picture of him. Is the man here. His name is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and at present he's the one who is running the whole show in Saudi Arabia. Now Saudi Arabia was the only country in the world where ladies lot were not allowed to drive. Very strange, isn't it? They were not allowed to drive. And there are many other things. If you see it from Indian perspective or from democratic perspective, then you find that it is very difficult for a woman to live in, particularly Indian woman or woman going from a democratic life, very difficult to live in Saudi Arabia. but things are changing slowly, and this is what the name of this article is, editorial, plodding reforms. That means it's not an editorial, it's an article basically you find in the op-ed page of the Hindu. So plodding basically means slow, very slow reforms taking place in Saudi Arabia, but now women can join its military. They can watch football matches, means they can attend football matches. They can literally go in the stadium and attend football. It may sound very strange for those of you who don't know life in Saudi Arabia, but yes, it is a big thing over there that women are allowed to watch football matches. And when I say watch, I mean to say you can attend and watch it in the ground, in the stadium. And last year, King Salman issued a decree. His father, right, this prince's father, King Salman, issued a decree ending the ban on women driving. So good thing for them. A couple of I think it was in 2016 when they allowed a woman to become a sort of fighter jet pilot as well. So things are changing over there, no doubt. And under this new crown prince, this Mohammed bin Salman, he is, of course, we know that as a prince, his aim or ambition will be to get on the throne and to become the king of Saudi Arabia, and there is no harm in it as well. This is a part of culture of Saudi Arabia. There has always been competition within this royal group between different princes, and the best one wins. So this is how it works. If you see their king selection process, then it is more democratic, but if you see their overall political life, then you find it more autocratic, or I must say a monarchist, not autocratic but monarchy. So he's presenting himself as a reformer and a modernizer. He has arrested, he took some radical decisions. He arrested several princes as well, and several senior officials were arrested, and he said that this is all cleaning oppression, corruption will not be allowed, and things like that. Now, top clerical body, you have here this in Saudi Arabia, you have a clerical or religious body as well, passing its own orders, and then you have this political body that is comprising of these kings and princes and all these people. So you find a bit of clash. Earlier on things were all right, but nowadays you see this penetration of internet. You have highest or the highest rate of penetration of smartphone, and you know, once you have a smartphone, you have YouTube and other things, so you are going to observe things around the world, and then your people, your youngsters are going to demand a change. So this sort of things are going on, and after this Arab Spring, we are witnessing major reforms taking place in this Arabic world, not only Saudi Arabia but in other countries too. So Saudi religious police, you have religious police as well in Saudi Arabia, and nowadays you don't find them that much. Their role or their strength is diminishing a little bit under this new reforms that we find in Saudi Arabia. And now, ladies, they have this clerical body has said that Saudi women need not wear this abaya, a full length loose fitting, but still they have a law over there. Religious body has given its green signal, but law is still there, so we have to get rid of this law. If they have to get rid of this law, if they want their women to wear something else. You have other draconian rules over there that even an adult woman, she has to get permission from a man if she wants to travel, or even if she wants to have health access or healthcare access, then as well, if she wants to see a doctor or visit a clinic or things like that, then as well she has to get access. These are the rules. You know it very well that not all the rules are implemented that strictly, but you know, because of this religious police, you may find a bit of trouble, and many times people have faced a bit of trouble and things like that. So radical reforms are required. This sort of laws needs to go if Saudi Arabia as a country as well as a society, if it wants to leapfrog into this modern world. You have a map of Saudi Arabia in front of you, and let me show you important bits and pieces. You have Red Sea here, Tropic of Cancer passing from it, Mecca, Medina, you have a big city here, Jeddah, Riyadh is its capital. You see here other countries, Yemen, problems going on. Oman PM was there. UAE PM was there a couple of weeks ago. Qatar and Saudi Arabia, not that good relationship at present. You have a very tiny country, Bahrain here, Kuwait is here, and then you have Iraq, Jordan, and of course Egypt and other countries, important countries. So do pay a little bit of attention here. Do spend quality time here. You see deserts here. 25% of oil is with Saudi Arabia, world oil, and you know, oil is a necessity, energy necessity. So different countries are relying on it. Particularly West used to rely on it. Nowadays USA has its own shale gas, and because of that, dependence on Saudi Arabia has gone down a little bit. But for a very long period of time, Western world was dependent on Saudi Arabia, and this relationship of demand and supply later on was turned into strong political and military relationship. And you know that Saudi Arabia is an ally of USA. With this, we have one article written by Jairam Ramesh and one of his colleague. They worked together for drafting this land acquisition bill. So he says that how the government acquired land from this private parties had long been the subject of heated dispute. Earlier on, what used to happen is that if government or if officials and if the government, right, basically if it decides that it wants a piece of land for whatever reason, they can ask you or force you to sell that land to the government. This is how it used to work. Then you know that it used to take ages and ages for you to get your money, right amount of money, and you have to pay some money to this official, so they will sign that check and things like that. So this was a very bad thing that was going on in our country. In a democratic country, if this is the way government is snatching or taking away your land, then this is not right. So UPA government came out with this right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement act, and it was passed in September 2013. Now I remember quite clearly when this bill was passed, it was supported by Bharatiya Janata Party, and of course it is written by Jairam Ramesh. So you will find a little bit of political touch here too. At that point of time, the situation was in 2014, general elections were going to be held. So UPA was this was a big problem, and you know, we have 50% farmers in our country, 50% plus population is doing farming. So if you come out with something like this, then you are going to win hearts and minds of the people, isn't it? And if you oppose this type of bill, then you are going to project yourself in a very bad shape. So Bharatiya Janata Party was supporting this bill as well, and it talked about this enhanced compensation, and it talked about this consent, that if you don't agree, then government cannot take your land. It talked about rehabilitation, as the name itself talks here, rehabilitation and resettlement, which was not there in the previous bills. So basically, as per this article and as per this bill, it changed the relationship between the government and a citizen as far as land is concerned. Now you have a section 24 in this act or in this bill, and as per this section 24, under certain circumstances, acquired land could be returned to the affected families. If now you have various clause in it, this section 24, but for in certain circumstances, right, even if you are paid money, then this land could be given back to you. This is something that is there. Now a case is going on, Indore Development Authority and Shailendra, February 2018, and now this is going to be looked after by 5-judge bench of Supreme Court, and they are going to decide this section 24, whether this should be explained in detail or a bit of short form is all right and things like that. But our main focus here, or the thing that you have to understand, is that when this bill was passed, it was already there. It was supported by every political party. Later on, we saw Narendra Modi government in 1st January 2015, right? They came out with, or they basically came out with an ordinance declaring this, or you can say sending this section 24 under the carpet, or making it a non-usable thing. But later on in Man Ki Baat program in 2016, after 1.5 year, more than 1.5 year, in Man Ki Baat program, he said that government withdraws this thing because there was a big uproar by opposition, and there were many people who were not happy with this section 24 and things like that. So now we have to wait and watch for this Supreme Court's stand on this section 24. But see, the thing is, what happens with in our country is that many times whenever you have any sort of dispute, earlier on 5 years timeline was decided, but later on government changed this thing that within 5 years, if you have to sort out whatever land dispute that you have, because you cannot keep a land idle for more than 5 years, because you know we have limited amount of land. If it is not used, then basically we are not using, or proper utilization of resources is not taking place. You can understand this thing. So it is very important, right, that this cases associated with land don't drag for ages and ages. So 5-year timeline was enough, but extending it is not good. So Supreme Court can check this thing as well. Now, as I said, let's wait and watch. And now we enter into news section. I hope all these articles are clear to you now, so far whatever discussion we have done. And I have gone through your picture observation. I must say, as I told you, you see, all your observations are different, isn't it? That's how it is. This is the beauty, this is the uniqueness in the way we see the things. And many times you may not agree with each other, but all of you are right. If you want, then I can give you this type of picture. I was about to give you, but I thought, like, you will think that I will start a new series. No, I don't want to start. I will share only those pictures that will help you in expanding your capacity. A PNB scan hits this buyer's credit, and you know, this 85 billion buyer's credit that was available earlier on, now it is out of stock, and this is going to be a sort of blow for our exporters, right? It is going to be a bit of problem for people who are trading. And we talked about this thing. It was in editorial. It was as an editorial, so we talked about, I explained you how it works and things like that. So this is the thing. When this is the, you know, I have used this example many a times, that if you take away huge amount of money from the bank, and if that money is not going to, means if the money is not going to come back to the bank, then naturally bank will increase its interest rate, and this, the pinch of this interest rate will be felt by common person like you and I. Merkel, Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany, she gets support for the 4th term, clearing the last hurdle to her 4th term. By this clearance has been given to her by political parties supporting her, and it is important for EU. Germany is a very strong country in EU. It is the biggest economy. It is the most powerful country as well in terms of in every aspect, right? It is one of the most powerful country in Europe. And if political instability is over there, then you can understand that it will impact whole EU, and directly, indirectly, it will impact India as well. We have very good relationship with Germany. With this shared bikes, this is going to be the future. You can take or borrow cycle. You will find cycles parked in a slot, and you can use this mobile app, scan a QR code and unlock the bike automatically, and then you can park it. Something that was first started by Barclays Bank in UK, and now we find this sort of things taking place. This article is pertaining to Bangalore city, and if you ask me, then I can clearly see that battery supported e-cycles will be available in future in all the towns and cities of our country, and then later on we will find e-cars and e-motorcycles as well easily available. So rather than you purchasing a vehicle, if you want to go out, you can borrow it easily, and that's it. You have to pay a little bit of fee. So rather than purchasing or investing money in buying your own car, government will provide, or a society will have enough cars so that everyone can use it. So this could be a thing in future. Why this pre-release outrage? This is about film industry. Smriti Irani talked about this thing. This Karan Johar, a director, he said that soft power of films are now becoming softer targets. So she has said that we need to think about it, why we are creating controversies before a release of film to attract more eyeballs and things like that. The reason we are discussing this article is because, you know, film industry is it is definitely a soft power for us, because it helps in spreading our culture in different parts of the world. The other thing is good films. They can come up with a good message, and they can be a method or tool for educating our society too. But nowadays we are seeing too many issues and controversies taking place, which is not that good. Myanmar puts off border pact. We have a border pact with Myanmar, and due to this domestic issues, it has said that give us some more time, but they have not gave us a specific time for how long it will take for them to sign this pact. We share 1,643 kilometer unfenced border with Myanmar, and you have this free movement thing. So you can say, for example, this is the border here, this is Myanmar, this is India. So you can come here and freely roam up to 16 kilometer in India. This is a pact we have with Myanmar, and then you have this infiltration and things like that. USA's president has praised Xi Jinping. Italy votes Italian people. They vote they have voted under new and complex electoral law, and at present, for a very long period of time, Italy has been facing this listless economy, high unemployment, and immigration is a big problem for them. Suresh Krishna has said that GDP is going to double. This GST is going to double the GDP, and he gave this example of New Zealand. In New Zealand, introduction of this GST led to growth of 4 times of its GDP. He said that check posts are gone now, or vanished, because of the introduction of GST. And this one is about cash-rich PSU, public sector units. ONGC buyout of HPCL, special video lecture delivered by me in Hindi and English, available on our YouTube channel. In 2018-19 budget, Finance Minister talked about this merger of 3 insurance companies. Again, special video lecture delivered by me, available in Hindi and English on our channel. So make sure you check it out. It will help you a lot in understanding why we need, or why government is doing this merger and things like that. So very important topic in that sense. And here I have 2 answers for you, 2 interesting questions as well, and that's everything that we have got. Don't forget to check StudyIQ.com, and please do share this lecture with your friends and your loved ones, right? Do gift share them. It is a gift when you share it with someone else. And make sure you subscribe if you have not. Do subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell. Please give me your like if you have learned something out of it, something out from today's discussion, and pass your answers. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your day. Jai Hind and goodbye.